What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Double T Gaming. Hope everyone is having a great day today. And on this day, we're going to do a little recap of the first 2 weeks of Bronzebeard launch. As of right now, we're just about at that 2-week mark and perhaps answering the question if it's worth to play on this server at all. But first, if you have not already, hit the like button and sub to the channel. I cover everything Classic Plus, whether it be Turtle, Bronzebeard, Epoch, or anything Blizzard might have cooking up, or anything Blizzard lawsuit related. Also, hit that notification bell to get a message when I do go live on stream. I've been streaming the entirety of my Bronzebeard journey, and it has been a lot of fun. And finally, one last self-plug, join the Discord. That is linked in the description. It's an easy place for us to chat about anything Classic Plus or anything WoW in general, and I'll be doing a giveaway when we do hit the 10k sub mark on that Discord, hopefully by the end of the year. But anyway, let's talk about Bronzebeard in these first almost 2 weeks. Real quick, I've seen a lot of folks saying that I am being paid to talk about these servers. I am not at all. I think legally I do have to let you guys know that I am being paid, or to hashtag ad, but Ascension doesn't know me, Turtle doesn't know me. I'm just rehashing my experiences from these servers. Honestly, I wish I was getting paid. Dutch, my DMs are open. But yeah, no, I'm not sponsored at all by this. But anyway, again, I'll start with my journey personally. And straight out, I will say that I've been having a blast on Bronzebeard. From that very first day of launch, where we had nearly 600 viewers on stream watching on launch day, to even now, every gaming session and every stream has been fun for me. I've been lucky enough to never actually have to sit in a queue to get into the server, even on launch day. So I've been on Bronzebeard the entire time, not on Malfurion. Am I a little envious of Malfurion? Yeah, probably a little bit. Population control is probably so much better over there, and 90% of the time that Bronzebeard goes down, I see Malfurion just kind of sitting pretty in the corner online without any issues. And I know about the transfers from Bronzebeard to Malfurion, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but again, for me personally, it's just been a lot of fun. I rolled probably the rarest class and race combination that you'll see in all of Bronzebeard. I'm a male human paladin. Now, the reason I did this is because Bronzebeard is based on the Wrath class framework, and Paladins in Wrath of the Lich King, especially Prot Paladins when they got their full kit, is some of the most fun I've ever had in WoW. I played a Paladin in Wrath Classic, I had a level 80 Paladin alt in Vanilla Wrath back in the day, and personally I like the aesthetic of the Paladin the most of any class, just a holy warrior of the light, fighting demons and undead and all that good stuff. And also, Tales of the Past is my favorite WoW machinima. Shout out to Blazer and the Ashbringer and the entire tier 2 Paladin set, it just looks so sick. But what have I been doing on my journey? Well, right now I am only level 38 on Bronzebeard, so I've been taking it pretty slow. Honestly, almost too slow. I've been trying to kick it up a notch in leveling, but for me personally, I don't have as much time anymore as I used to game in general between my normal day job, toddler, family, and friends that I still do hang out with. Back in my prime gaming days, I would have no life this server over an entire weekend period and would have been 60 for sure within the first 5 days or so. But that just isn't me anymore, unfortunately, and I do miss being able to do that, but to be honest, I am a lot happier where I'm at in life right now in general, so I wouldn't give up any of what I have at all just to be able to level more in a game. But anyway, we do have our own guild on the server. It is called Guardians of Ascension. We made this on launch day on stream. Free invitation to anyone who would like to join. If you see any of us online or see me live on stream, shoot me a whisper. Welcome to join, of course. We have our own Discord and all that good stuff. We hopefully plan on doing some flex rating in the future. Not sure of the actual time yet we'll be doing that, but I would like to be 60 by the time Zolgro comes out later this month. But along the way, I have made a ton of friends, had a ton of different conversation, and had a ton of fun doing this PvP stuff. Even had my first incident of being stream sniped by the same guy multiple days in a row, so that was a fun experience. But I've explored different areas and found different World Forged items that I never would have looked for if there wasn't this immersive feature in the game. And I've met a ton of viewers along the way who just whispered me out of the blue in passing, saying that they watch my videos and appreciate the content, which honestly, makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside whenever I do get that type of whisper. All in all, the journey itself for me personally has been some of the best times I've had in WoW in years, and I'm looking forward to continuing it with you all. Now, enough of me glazing the server from my own perspective, let's go in the other direction and talk about some things that I really don't like or have been annoying in general. One is the server stability overall. Now, I'm not going to complain about this too much because I understand that it is a private server and numbers are trying to even out in general, and to support this many players on one server without issues is an impossible task. But it doesn't really change the fact that the stability of the realm itself has been an issue, and I think a lot of folks are kind of getting frustrated by it. Me personally, I think I'm kind of indifferent about it. I accept the fact that, again, this is a private server, so I know that there will be issues, but I also do get, I don't think frustrated is the right word, more so like disappointed when there is a disconnect in the middle of playing. And because of these disconnects, and real quick, I mainly play during the day EST, which translates to prime time for the server in EU time, but I've been avoiding dungeons kind of as much as I can. I've ran them here and there, but I would say that maybe out of the 10 dungeons that I've run in total, I've completed maybe about 6 out of 10, and the other 4 having a disconnect in the middle of it. And when people do get back online, they just leave the group or don't come back online at all, and you can't re-queue for a dungeon while someone's DC'd, so it messes up the whole group in general. The actual queues themselves are quick. Even if you are DPS, you'll get into a group within like 5 minutes of being queued, but even with that, it's still a 50-50 shot, I think, during those prime hours if you actually finish the dungeon. If Zul'Gurub and other raids do come out, and there is still this issue with disconnecting, it's going to be incredibly hard to have a clean clear of anything because you're really having to play against a server to actually get the raid done. Now, I am fully confident that Dutch and the Ascension team will get this under control because the Ascension devs are the best in the business when it comes to private servers, in my opinion. But if things are still this unstable during prime hours, they probably need to push ZG and raid releases back until they can get it taken care of, or there's going to be a lot more frustration from the player base. And I do know that they are aware of it. Just the other day, they announced transfers from Bronzebeard to Malfurion are going to be available soon to try and even out the population a bit. Now, I would rather have 2 medium pop servers than 1 high pop unstable one and 1 low pop one like we do have now, but I have seen the comments on some of my videos here recently, notably the New Truth about Bronzebeard video, which kind of blew up a little bit for me, about me ignoring the stability of the server. Trust me, I am not ignoring it, but I also don't think it's a problem that's going to last throughout the lifespan of the server or down the line in a couple months. But it has been pretty prevalent in these first 2 weeks, as expected. The next thing I want to touch on real quick that I did also mention in the New Truth about Bronzebeard video is the dungeon and item scaling. I don't like these features at all. I understand that dungeon scaling helps with queues in general, so it's an instant queue and doesn't try to match you with just those in your level range, but being a level 15 in Uldaman or a level 50 in Wailing Caverns is just kind of weird and awkward to me. I've never liked dungeon scaling at all in any version of WoW, and I've also never liked item scaling. I feel like item scaling cheapens getting a good loot in general. Like, take the quest for RFD, for example, to get Vanquisher Sword. You can accept this quest at level like 15, and you get a scaled down version of Vanquisher Sword as a reward. But then you can wait until 20 and you get a better version of the sword, or wait until 30 or 40 or 50. And I just think it kind of cheapens gearing gains in general, especially when it comes to dungeon loot. Now, I can't find the footage of this, for example, but at level 17, I got Smite's Hammer out of a cache, and it was scaled down to level 17 so I could use it immediately. But then I ran Dead Mines level 18, Smite's Hammer dropped, and instantly it was better than my Smite's Hammer I'd equipped, so I used that instead. So I had 2 different versions of Smite's Hammer in my bags ready to go. I just find that a little bit awkward in my opinion, and I've had some other folks hop in the stream and kind of say the same thing about item scaling. I don't mind the level scaling portion of the server, but I don't like the dungeon item scaling portion, and I will die on that hill. Speaking of the level scaling, yeah, I'm totally okay with this in the first couple of weeks. I honestly don't really notice it, especially while I'm leveling. It gives you the opportunities to go back and do zones that would have become obsolete for you entirely, or just save some easier zones at a higher level if you are in a weird spot in between levels. Level scaling just makes it so the mobs will never turn gray to you. They'll only be green, so just about 4 levels below you. And you can still tear through these mobs pretty easily, or at least I could as a red paladin, but I think paladins are a little bit overtuned right now. Touching on the PvP on the server, I don't have a problem with it. For me personally, I am either on high risk or I am in PvE mode. I don't really hang out in war mode at all because I think it kind of lowers the fun a little bit. Have I been murked in PvP? Oh yeah, for sure. I've definitely died more in PvP than I've killed folks on the other end. Does that make it any less fun? No, not at all. I'm still having a blast with it despite, stream sniping or despite getting 4v1 by Horde and STV. I still think it's a lot of fun. Dutch did say the other day that they were going to go back to the idea of separating PvE and PvP layers to hopefully help with performance. I guess that just isn't in the game yet because after this announcement, I'm still seeing people who are in PvE mode while I'm in high risk or vice versa. But mercenary mode is also really fun. I haven't played as a mercenary myself too much, but I have killed a few of them and just kind of called them a traitor or whatever and just moved on. PvP might not be balanced at all right now, but usually the most unbalanced PvP is the most fun type of PvP in WoW, in my opinion. Of course, there is still the cash shop on the server. As of right now, the time of this recording, the experience aura and the experience potion are still not available on the server, so everyone is leveling normally, but there are tons of other convenience items available to buy. And even Bazaar tokens available that lets you do these Callboard quests instantly, which then rewards you a high level cash that can get you fully epicked out in heroic dungeon gear in a matter of minutes, so there is that. But to be fair, these Callboard profession quests are also pretty easily done without Bazaar tokens at all. Like yesterday, I had one just to bring in 5 pairs of linen pants. They're about 20 silver each on the auction house, and I did that like 10 times in a row and now have 10 caches sitting in my bank waiting for me to hit 60 to open. And at 60, more quests will open up on the Callboard to give you more opportunities to just go to a single zone, do some normal quests, rather than gather quests that could cost you actual gold if you buy the materials raw from the auction house. So just a quick tip, if you are still leveling leveling, still check the Callboard profession tab and get the cheapest ones done if you have the gold to spare. You'll get geared up quick when you do hit 60. But more and more every day I am seeing folks who do have a 60 and are leveling an alt in full heirloom, so just speeding past me and leveling, which does make me feel worse about myself every time I do see it. But I'm not sure when the experience aura or potion will be available, but you know, oh guys, please don't be in my group with an experience aura. Please don't help me level faster. Haha, that would be so awful. But yeah, those are just kind of things I've noticed in the first 2 weeks of Bronzebeard. I am personally having a ton of fun taking my time leveling, getting into some random PvP fights, meeting everyone in game who watches the channel and streaming the whole journey. But I still am not a fan of the dungeon leveling or the scaling. Stability at times can get pretty annoying, and gearing at 60 is super easy it looks like if you take advantage of the Callboard early, but I did unfortunately miss the World Force Cetus world boss kill, which I heard was just a massive lag PvP fest and that took over an hour to kill, and I also will miss Azurgos as well. But hopefully by the time the next run of releases in a couple of weeks where world bosses are out, I'll be a bit higher of a level so I can at least still head over to those bosses and see how it is, especially the one that's going to be spawning in Darkshore. Now the question is it worth it for you to play on Bronzebeard? Well, if you're worried that you'll be behind if you start now rather than 2 weeks ago, don't be. There are no raids available yet on the server at all. And even when there are available, we won't see the next raid releases probably for another month, with the first raid just being ZG, which is kind of like a catch-up type beginner raid almost. So there is plenty of time for you to hit 60. The combat in general on Bronzebeard, like I've said in the past, is a lot closer to Cataclysm rather than the actual vanilla. So it's a lot faster paced combat. Yes, you do kill stuff a lot faster, you have more buttons to press. But mobs also hit a lot harder and can kill you pretty fast too if you overpull or just aren't careful. And plus, eventually there will be those experience options on the shop to help you catch up in leveling in general, so there's plenty of time to do what you need to do and not feel like you're missing out if you miss a day or two. I have people in my guild who stopped around level 30, but they keep showing up on stream saying they're just waiting for the experience pots to be available, and I totally get it. But if you do want to try Bronzebeard, whether it be because of the gameplay you're seeing has seemed interesting to you, or you just want to experience some of the things that I've talked about, just make sure you go into it with a mindset that this isn't your typical classic vanilla server. You're playing a more recent style version of WoW. Again, not up to retail level, but at the same time, not at the same pace of vanilla at all. But overall, yes, I think it's worth it for everyone to at least give Bronzebeard a try, at least for those first 10 to 15 levels, based on what I've seen in these first 2 weeks. You'll get your mount early on at level 5 and be able to run around the revamped starting areas quick and get a real taste of the World Forge and immersive type items that are available. You'll see the new Mystic enchantment system that are basically like an updated version of runes from Sod or a more powerful glyph system from Wrath. You can get into high risk PvP or mercenary mode at level 15 where you'll drop a chest with some of your items in it if you do die, or get that zone wide alert that there is a mercenary nearby, so you just have to watch out before you get jumped by your own faction. For me, the server hits just the right spot of a faster classic experience, faster mobility overall, so being able to just get around faster than you could in vanilla, with those perfect moments of high risk world PvP that kind of gets the blood flowing a little bit and it puts a bit more fear into losing something in your bags. And plus, the game is entirely free. You don't need to use your credit card at all for this server, and you can still enjoy your time. These first couple weeks have been a lot of fun for me. Of course, it has not been perfect, but nothing ever is. But let me know how your guys' first couple weeks on Bronzebeard has been, or if you've kind of moved on from the server in general or are waiting for something else. But don't forget to hit that like button, sub to the channel for everything Classic Plus, and join the Discord as well. And I am open to any other video suggestions regarding Bronzebeard, Turtle, Epoch, or anything Classic Plus or Blizzard related. But thank you guys for watching. This is Double T Gaming. This was another one of those kind of long, ranty discussion type videos, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one.